no one looks you in the eye. But I've been looking at you for a long, long time, just trying to break through, trying to make you mine. Everybody wants to flame, they don't want to get burned. No one looks you in the eye. Well, today is our turn. Days like these lead to nights like this, lead to love like ours. You like the spark in my bonfire heart. People like us, we don't need that much, just someone that starts the spark in our bonfire hearts. Our bonfire hearts. Our bonfire hearts. Oh, our bonfire hearts. You like the spark. People like us, we don't need that much, just someone that starts the spark in our bonfire hearts. Days like these lead to nights like this, lead to love like ours. You like the spark in my bonfire heart. People like us, we don't need that much, just someone that starts the spark in our bonfire hearts. Our bonfire hearts. Days like these lead to nights like this, lead to love like ours. You like the spark in my bonfire heart. People like us, we don't need that much, just someone that starts the spark in our bonfire hearts. Let's go! Cantar con nosotros, let's go! I used to rule the world. Seas would rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep alone. Sweet the streets I used to own. I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes. Listen as the crowd would sing. Now the old king is dead, long live the king. 1 minute I held the key. Next the walls were closed on me. I discovered that my castle stand upon pillars of pillars stand.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good night from wherever you're tuning in from. Oh my God, look at that. That's my quantum code fam. I see some quantum code people. Tell us, hey, tell us where you're tuning in from and what you're excited to learn today. Good morning. Oh my God, my bestie's here, period. Good morning. Okay, beautiful. So today's webinar is called From Malaysia, period. Hey, hello, hello. I see so many people I actually know. from Quantum Code, and I love it. Tuning in from Florida, period. Okay, so today's webinar, I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited because what we're talking about is how to become untouchable, okay? It is the frequency of being above circumstances. Um, Wow, beautiful. We have people from different places all over the world. Call me Mr. International. But the frequency of being untouchable. And the reason I'm so excited to talk about this is because moments before I got on live, right? I got this really fun analogy to explain this through. And if anyone is a Marvel fan over here, you're gonna love my analogy, okay? But let's start with this. Let's start with this. You are not, let's talk about why you're here. Because I know why I'm here, because I love talking about it and I love talking in general. But you're here not to learn something. You're not here for more information. You're here from India, and I love that. I love that. Beautiful. So you're here because something inside you is done being ruled by outcomes. When we hear the phrase the frequency of being above circumstances, right? So that means that you tap into a frequency, a state of being. You become the type of person who is literally not moved by the 3D. You don't flinch. And that's why you're here, because you know that that exists. You know that there is a version of you, a self concept of you, an identity, a frequency, something that you feel called towards being here in this moment. It's not a coincidence. It's because you are invited by life itself to collapse a timeline here today. Because you know the deeper truth that has always been calling your name. You were never meant to respond and react to life, to react to circumstances. You were sent to command it. And so today in this room, in the time we have together, that's what we're here to do. We're here to end reactivity. And we're here to tap into the moment where you become untouchable. So I'm going to start with a story, okay? A memory, a mirror. It's an analogy, and I want you to start to imagine this analogy, okay? Let's say that a couple of years ago, Infinity War Avengers came out. You went there to watch it, and you're watching this movie, and you're so locked in with it, right? Everything's falling apart. The heroes are dust, and you're sitting like at the edge of your seat, and you're like, what on earth is going on? And you feel like you're getting gut punched, shaken. Like, is this how it ends? If you've watched Avengers, you probably understand my reference, hopefully. But, it ends with this like everything's just falling apart. And just in that moment of like grief or just feeling shaken up, you don't yet realize that the producers were already in the studio filming what? The next movie, Endgame. They weren't crying, doubting, spiraling. They knew what was coming. They weren't reacting to what just played on the screen. They were moving by the knowing of what was already done. But when you were over there in the cinema, you're watching the movie, you get so dissolved into the movie that you feel the heartbreak of the snap when Thanos had all the stones. And in that moment, it felt like nothing existed, just you dissolved, having forgotten about the world around you. Because that's what happens when you go to watch a really good movie. right? Just during that time, it feels like nothing else exists. In that moment, the mind quiets down and you're simply experiencing the roller coaster that movie is. And then as the movie ends, the lights are turned back on and you remember, oh, right. That was a movie. That wasn't real. That was a story, a script, a screen. And you were sitting in a chair the whole time, surrounded by strangers, popcorn grease in your fingers, heartbeat pounding like the fate of the universe depended on it. And for 2.5 hours, you completely forgot. You forgot it was fiction. You forgot you had a body. You forgot you were just watching a story someone else wrote. Because think about it. If your mind wasn't quiet while you were watching the movie, you wouldn't actually be able to enjoy it, right? But this is what it means to fall into the 3D. The 3D is the movie, the screen, the echo. And your soul is the light of awareness, the one in the seat, the one watching, the one that's eternal. So when the light of awareness turns on, you remember, oh, wait, hold up. I was getting too caught up in the 3D. I was too caught up in the movie. It's like imagine that you're one of the actors in a movie. You're casted for a role and you're told that, okay, this is the character. This is how you play it. This is what you do, so on. And you have to really in order to perform well, really embody the character. So you become like every day and night, you memorize the line. You start to think like the character, act like the character until the line between you and the character seemingly fades away. And you forget that that movie is just a part you're playing. And so if you're suffering in the movie, if something heartbreaking happens to the character, what do you need to do to stop suffering? You need to remember that this is a movie. You are not the character. You're playing a character, right? But you were always detached from it. You were always beyond it, outside the movie. And this distinction is the difference that makes the difference. The ability to remember the part of you, the you actually, not even part, but the you that is beyond the movie, the you that is watching it all happen. And to become untouchable is to live from that place, live from that place of awareness. It's to turn on the light of awareness and remember, wait up, this is a movie. Why am I getting so worked up? Because the moment you remember is the moment you stop suffering. And our ability to become untouchable, to radiate the frequency of being untouchable, is in our ability to remember over and over and over and over again, to come back home to heart. Most people don't know how to remember that. They forget that they're watching a projection. So they start reacting like the movie is their fate. They cry in the heartbreak, they spiral in the delay, panic at the plot twist. Oh my God, what's going to happen now? But just like the end of Infinity War or any movie, when the lights come back on, you remember, oh, oh, I'm safe. Oh, I was watching a movie. Oh, that wasn't me. That was just a version of me who got lost in the story. And that moment, when you remember who is actually in the seat, the watcher, the observer, the awareness, the one that doesn't move, the one that doesn't flinch, the one that just is beyond time, beyond space, consciousness. That's your return to consciousness. That's your awakening. That's when the emotions slow down. Your heartbeat is more coherent. Fear fades away. And there is this stillness within, a realization everything's okay. You were just immersed in a story written in the past. So now you get to write the next one. So what happens next? You remember while you're crying in the dark of Infinity War, you remember, oh, hold up. The producers, they're already filming Endgame. And now let's connect this to your life, right? Right now, what you're watching in the 3D, think of it as your Infinity War. It's a story that was written by your past frequency. But Endgame, which is again an analogy, your next chapter, your wish fulfilled, it's already in production. The moment you convict in it, the moment you speak, the moment you say, you know what, this is my new self concept, this is my new reality. The moment you energetically command that you're not tolerating the past frequency anymore, okay, cool. It's gone for production now. And here's the thing, the producers of Endgame, right? They had to pay for the production, right? They needed a budget, resources, time, right? So in the quantum field, your payment, your currency is what? Is your frequency. It's your frequency. If the producers stop paying, the movie doesn't get made, right? If they stop paying for the movie, there will be no movie. So when you stop holding the frequency, that timeline does not get produced because manifestation is an energetic exchange. You are funding your next timeline with your energetic devotion, your conviction, your knowing. And if you keep shifting frequencies, if you keep doubting your own movie, you're not paying the bill. You stop the production halfway. You cancel the thing that was on its way to you. So I need you to really like hear this loud and clear. You don't need to know how the movie ends. You don't need to know how things come to you. You don't need to know every little detail of the process. You just need to hold your seat and know it's done. It's written, and it's going to be better than you could have ever imagined it. You just need to know that you're the main character. You're not waiting it. Your frequency is funding it. Your currency is your frequency. Does that make sense so far? Put a one in the chat if it makes sense. The chat is wildly silent. You're all okay, amazing. I was like, is everyone, I love that, period. Okay. Okay, so it's silent because, mm, all right, love it. You're locked in. I love it. Okay, you're beautiful. All right. So now let's go deeper in this. All right. Let's go deeper in this. Imagine a studio executive, all right? He says, you know what? we're gonna have to cancel the sequel of Endgame because the audience stopped believing it would come. Imagine if he said that. The audience doesn't believe it's not coming because it's not here yet. So should we just cancel it? Because that's what most people do energetically. They go silent, they waver, they get emotional over the trailer and they miss the whole freaking movie. But I know for a fact that that's not you. You're the one, because you're here, that's proof in and of itself that you're the one who keeps the lights on in the quantum studio. You're the one who says, no matter what I see on a screen, I know what's coming next. Even when it feels like nothing's happening, I am happening. Because frequency isn't how you feel, it's how you fund. Frequency is not how you feel, it is how you fund. And if you pull your faith and you start spiraling, you pull the production. Hi, Rupali, bestie. So hear me loud and clear. Hold the frequency. Hold the frequency. Not because things, period. Actually, it's deeper. Our feelings and emotions don't create our frequency. Oh, well, the part where I tell you how to control it is literally what the webinar is about. We just started. I got you. Okay. So, so you hold the frequency not because things look good, but because you've seen the storyboard. You've written the next scene. You know how it ends. And that brings us to God-backed audacity. All right. Because like this is where we go from being inspirational to being dangerous. Because audacity is not taught, it is unleashed. It can't be bought, it can't be faked. It is something that you can't even explain. Like it is something that you can just simply feel with every fiber of your being. It is something that can only be experienced. Period. I know how it ends without a doubt. I am as my servant thinks of me. That's what God says. So, audacity is the natural consequence. Listen to this. Write it down if you want to, okay? Audacity is the natural consequence of realizing that you have direct access to the God who bends galaxies. Audacity is the natural consequence of realizing that you have a direct access to God, the one who bends galaxies. Because think about it. Do you think, do you actually think that God put you on this planet to beg for timelines? The devil tried to keep me out, but I'm here, period. Let's give it up for Fallon. Everybody give it two in the chat for Fallon. I love it. It's my girl, bro. Um, where's the two in the chat? I'm not. I'm period. Okay. All right. So the question is, do you actually think, bro, do you actually think that God put you on this planet to beg for timelines, to tiptoe around your desires, to tone down your requests? So I don't want to seem greedy. Oh no. What kind of energy is that? You're not here to be humble in your ask. You are here to be holy in your expectation. Audacity does not live in the mind. It lives in the realm where your logic dies, where logic can no longer go with you. Logic cannot go there with you. It can't take you there. It can't even exist there because where logic ends, audacity begins. It is the realm of your soul. You don't express audacity when things are easy. You express it when there's pin drop silence. The 3D looks like it is the opposite of working out. The 3D looks like, wait, what? Everything's on fire? How am I meant to believe here? And that's the moment where you get louder. You roar with faith. You march through the silence. You stand over the ashes of doubt and say, this is the soil where my miracles grow, period. We think that we're scared to show other people our audacity. We think that, oh, I'm afraid of being seen by others. But the truth is that that's such BS because the actual thing is that you're afraid of your own power. You're afraid to see your own self, to know your own glory, not because of who you are, but because of who created you and who gave you that glory. See, people think that, oh my God, wait, doesn't that make me so arrogant? No. I think the true arrogance is humility in the name of in like humility in disguise of self-doubt. The self-doubt disguised as humility. That you doubt yourself. That's arrogance. Because are you actually saying that you weren't honored with glory? You weren't honored with fire? You weren't honored with purpose? We get so caught up in these narratives, right? In our heads about, oh, what are other people going to think this? No, if you're thinking about what other people will think, that's because you're judging yourself. You Anything that you project onto others has nothing to do with them. When you can feel comfortable with owning your bigness, you will never feel threatened by glory, sharing it in all its glory with the world. We get scared of our own audacity because we think, oh shit, like, can I actually say that? But your audacity has nothing to do with you and everything to do with the one you move with. Your audacity is recognizing that, wait, if God is the ultimate reality, if he's the doer of every single thing, if he's told me that I am how you think of me, who am I to limit myself? Who am I to doubt? That's arrogant. We fear the intensity of God's love. Exactly. She's like, these are not my thoughts. They were forced by people to control. Yeah. And hey, had, we've all lived a life up until this moment, right? We didn't get a say in how we were conditioned, but that's where the breaking happens. That's where the liberation happens, where you recognize that, cool, whatever has happened up until this point in my life happened. But if I choose to give it more control over me, then that's on me. Now you've heard the terms. Someone said, what's the actual meaning of time bending? It means you're an avatar. I'm kidding. Time bending means that, uh, okay, that's such a big question. Have you watched my webinar on the law of delusion? Because that's where I went deep into. That's okay if you're attached. Okay, we're going to talk about it because I explained time in a very different way over there, and that would answer your question. So if you haven't, you can watch it. But it really means, now think about this. Okay, maybe you'll understand when I share this. You've heard the terms 3D, 4D, 5D, right? 3D meaning your physical world, the realm where, like objects exist, right? 4D is your mental, spiritual plane, let's say, just for right now. And 5D is the quantum. 5D is where all potentials exist, right? So most people don't actually get what this means in The body, 3D, in our analogy that we've talked about, is the screen, the movie, the reflection, right? The delayed echo of your old identity. Mental plane, 4D, is the bridge, the realm of imagination, thought, mind, time. I mean, if you've watched my previous two webinars that are on YouTube, as well as the live streams of it, I tell you, your mind is time. Time does not actually exist. We experience time in the 3D because this is the realm of space and time, of separation. But in the quantum, there's only just the present moment. And that's why quantum leaping, because quantum leaping isn't about freaking, like popping physically somewhere. It's a psychological shift in your state of consciousness where right now, where all timelines, all realities, every single thing exists right now, you simply go from your current state of consciousness to another state of consciousness and you close that distance in energy. And we're gonna, we're gonna, what you call that? We're gonna do that because we're doing an activation today, right? But think about this. Your 4D is the bridge. It is a realm of imagination. Your imagination is the most powerful thing you have. You don't need anything but your imagination. Okay. And 5D is consciousness, the field of absolute truth, oneness, the realm of already done, already yours, already real. So when you quantum collapse, you don't teleport through matter. Get this, you're not teleporting through matter. You shift through dimensions by collapsing time in the 4D. You rewire, you choose a different state of consciousness from the 5D. From where all exists, you attach your frequency to now a new one. And the movie on the screen, right? What your eyes are currently seeing, that catches up later. Okay? The shift happens first. Energy changes first. Reality is a byproduct. It's a psychological journey, not a physical one, period. Tell them, girl. There's a little delay for the 3D to catch. And this is why the proof that you have actually shifted. You know what the proof is? You disregard the 3D. When you can become unfazed by the 3D, that means you have successfully completed the psychological shift in consciousness. You've quantum leaped because you are no longer like, oh my God, where is it? Well, you're not no longer checking your phone, like, what is going on? Blah, blah. I accidentally opened my phone. But which comes to the frequency of remembrance, okay? Because the way we lock this in is through the way we lock the shift in, for example, the psychological journey and consciousness in, is throughout is remembrance. Because when you're living from your when you're living from your highest timeline, you are not looking for it. You are being it. When you're living from your highest timeline, you are not looking for it. You are what? Being it. You're not checking the mirror every 2 seconds saying to see, oh, has the glow up started yet? You're not checking your bank account every 2 minutes saying, oh, did I make the money yet? You're not wondering if love is real. You just know. Imagine, like, think about it this way, right? You have a phone, right? You have a phone, everyone has a phone. Let's say, you go to take a nap and you wake up and you can't find your phone, right? Maybe it's in another room, maybe the someone kept it somewhere, whatever, but you can't see it immediately around you. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that you start thinking that, like, oh my God, what if I never had a phone? What if the phone isn't real? Does that mean it ceased to exist? No. You're like you're knowing the fact that you're knowing about the fact that you have a phone doesn't change, even if you can't see it. Someone's like, how do we be it all the time, like 24/7? I mean, that's why we're here. Like I'm telling you, I'm gonna tell you, I promise. If you just give me the opportunity to tell you. But that's the thing, okay? Um, just because that reality that is in your knowing is not in your current view, you don't go like, "Hmm," you're like, period. That's conviction. That's quantum remembrance. Waiting is a frequency, okay? This is very, 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 very important, okay? Because this is the part where a lot of people get stuck in waiting mode. In like, okay, but I don't see it. Where is it? They wait for the world to give them permission to start to be it. Waiting says, I don't believe it's here. It says, I think I'm separate from it. It says, I'm still checking to make sure God followed through. Excuse me, sir? Because if separation is an illusion, it is just a thing of the 3D, right? In in reality, in the ultimate sense, there is just oneness, then waiting is a lie. If separation is an illusion, then waiting is a lie. So the name of the game is remembrance. You don't create from effort. You create from knowing, being. The moment you shift in consciousness, the moment your body stops looking for proof, that's when it's done. You rehearse your reality like it's already done. So this is the part where it's about how do you keep your remembrance high? This is how you loop scenes like flashbacks of a life you've already lived. Your mind, right? Your mind is a time traveling machine. And the challenge is that most people are stuck on the rerun channel without realizing that you can switch timelines like you're changing a song. You close your eyes and you can travel. And when you land there in the future where everything is done, you don't look around saying, where is it? You just know. And this is where I personally have a lot of fun with it. Okay. This is where I have a lot of fun with it in how I practice the timeline. Okay. So what I do is, and this is what you can do as well, right? The thing we need to understand is that give up trying to find the perfect strategy. Everything changed for me when I was like, okay, well, I don't need to, like, there's no process that I need to perfect or whatever. It's about what is the best way for me to feel like I am in that timeline. What works for me? So, what works for me personally is that someone said looping, fake it till it believes. Um, yeah, I guess. But it doesn't feel fake to me. But here's what I do, right? I don't just like do like closed eye visualizations, okay? I very much integrate it with my daily life, okay? So I'll give you an example, right? Let's say that I'm quantum leaping or manifesting like a new timeline, okay? So I will sit down and I will start first, like really lose all sense of awareness off the 3D, take it off. And then as I lose that sense of separation, sense of space, environment, time, and I'm just in a realm where all exists, every possibility exists, I am connected. I am connected to everything. And the fastest and easiest way to do that is stop trying to resist your thoughts. Simply Bring your awareness to your heartbeat and your breath, heartbeat and breath. In literally less than a minute, your entire nervous system calms down and you come into the present moment. Because there is no separation in the present moment, because that is all that exists. The present moment is all there ever is. So if the present moment is all there ever is, and I want you to really understand that when we say that all timelines, all futures, every single thing exists in the present moment, that is not a fun little, just a thing to say. It's not just like a way, a belief. This is a law of life. It is how reality is built. It is like gravity. So if you come up to me and you say, Anna, I don't believe in gravity, and I push you off the third, I wouldn't do that. But if I push you off the third floor, just because you don't believe in gravity doesn't mean you're not going to fall. It is a law of life, right? But we have embodied our understanding of gravity. That is why we don't necessarily jump off a building. But our understanding or our awareness about the quantum, the spiritual, is very much intellectualized. It's like, oh, I yeah, believe that. The moment it goes from believing and intellectualizing to knowing in the heart and being, that's when life actually gets so freaking juicy. Because now you stop performing. Now you stop playing. Now you stop saying, like, I'll try it out, I guess. And you're like, wait a minute. Like, wait a minute. This is the way it works. It's the way it's always worked. So why don't I have fun with it? Why don't I make it to be in a way that, like, I am just always in awe? When you embody it the way that you've embodied your knowing of gravity, that's when this really works for you. Because that's when you start to see like instant shifts happening. I swear, up until last year, I used to know this in intellect. This year, when it started, the first month of the year, I was like, nope, I will become a walking embodiment of this. I don't care. I became obsessed with it. And everything changed. Because I was like, I don't have to understand it. I don't have to understand anything. I'm just here to embody. I'm just here to live from it. So then, how did I remember it? How did I stay anchored in it? Well, to start off, I take off your awareness from all the, like take off your uh senses, all your perceptions, close your perceptions, all right? Close your eyes. Dim the room, that helps. And basically just get into the present moment. All right. And then from this present moment, you have the awareness that all timelines simultaneously exist right now. So, what is the timeline that represents your wish fulfilled? The bridge that we need to gap is the bridge of our self concept. It's of who we're being. Who you're being right now, the frequency, the energy, the signature of you is different from the signature of you over there. And it's just the difference in signatures that changes the movie. So you get very clear and you become one with that you. And for me, it didn't start with a 30-second movie. It started with literally me I would start by sitting on the couch, and then I would walk around the entire room, and I would live an entire 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes. I would live it. Like, I'm not even like, I don't know how else to tell you this. I would live with my eyes closed. I would live that reality. I would, with my eyes closed, have conversations. do webinars. I swear, like, record videos. I would be walking physically, I would walk around my room and I would physically in the 3D like speak these things out, not just as a movie in my mind, but I would like I bring the 4D and the 3D together because to me that is so so powerful when there is no separation because your mind cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So if it and for because I don't visualize it pictures, it just helped. It was so much more powerful to physically walk around as well and just get there so deep in knowing and feeling until I felt her, until I knew what it was like to be her. And here's the thing is that we know what we want or whatever, but we don't know what it's like to be one with that you. Because what you want isn't out there, it is a different signature of you. So, what you really need to master is to be that signature of you, to walk like her or him, to talk like it, to act like it, to move like it, to radiate like it, to hold space like it. And when you do that, the only way you can do that is by using the tool that God gave you, which is your imagination. Your imagination is the greatest bridge to the unknown. But we think, what do you mean? How can I imagine something I don't know? You actually can. When you stop getting caught up in the details and just go like, okay, well, from a state of awareness, you lose your sense of current identity, point zero. And you're like, okay, what is this life? Maybe I'll start by imagining a room. Okay, period. I'm in a new room. All right, what's in this room? Hmm. Okay, I'm doing this. This thing exists. Now I start to build this room like a literal simulation in the mind. And then you walk around, you add characters, you add colors, you start to speak it over and over again. And once you know what she or what he feels like, once you can feel them in your body, that's when I'd take a 30-second scene and I would loop it. And then with my eyes closed, with my eyes open, sorry, with my eyes open, I literally, the entire day, I talk to God about it. I stay in the frequency, I stay in the remembrance by constantly being in the frequency of gratitude about it. So I'll be like, God, and this helps when right after you open your eyes, you have to know. Like if when you open your eyes, you still feel the way you did before you close them, you didn't shift. When you open your eyes, everything feels different. It just does because that's the law of it. And it does get to be that easy. So with your eyes open, the first thing I do is I'm just on my knees in gratitude. I'm like, God, wow, thank you. Thank you. We think that worship, prayer is something that's limited to being in the mosque or church or temple. But true worship, living, like being like a walking embodiment of a prayer, is to know that there is no difference between life, like worldly life or whatever, and religion or spirituality or whatever. There's no separation between you and God in that sense. That every single thing in your life is intertwined with God. So worship isn't just when you're in prostration, it's when you're standing in front of a sea and your conviction says, I know who I move with. So you don't even flinch and the sea parts for you, Moses. It's when the fire was scorching hot. You're midway in the air. Angel comes down to you and says, just say the word and I will command the fire to cool down. And you say, no, my God is sufficient for me. And so the fire cools down, doesn't even burn. The law breaks. That's worship. That's faith. That's conviction. That is being untouchable, truly, to be midway in the air and to say, nope, I don't want to help from an angel because I have what? A direct connection, a direct line to God. And what we think, what our fallacy is, what our unconsciousness is in thinking, I have to be very, very pious to then be worthy of God or whatever. But that's a distortion people gave you. God didn't. He said, when a caller asks about me, I am near. He didn't say, when the perfect person asks, near for everyone. He says, closer to you than your jugular vein. And still we think there's this separation. Oh, why has God not heard me? Because you're still begging, you're still waiting. God says, I am how you think of me. You're still thinking that I have to perform over and over again to be heard, for my wish to be fulfilled. I have to beg because we grew up seeing that to be normalized. What drew me away from God my whole life was I was like, but I don't like the vibe of these religious, godly people. They're so miserable and unhappy, so self-righteous and judgmental. And then I realized that that distortion was not God, it was them. It was in the human, not never in the divinity of it all. Our acts of worship are not meant to replace the spirituality. They're not meant to replace the heart of worship. They're in place to support it, to support remembrance. But what we see, the distortion we see, the separation we see is in what? It's that people replace the spiritual with just the physical. And that's why we suffer. So faith, conviction, being untouchable is to live from the heart, from the soul, to come home here, to remember you're always supported. That reality is exactly what you convict in. That the reason you don't have to suffer at over whatever is going on in the 3D right now is because this movie was produced by the old script. But your end game is already in production the moment you speak it, the moment you decide it. And you don't have to shame yourself to feel a certain way or whatever to perform. You take it with love, slowly, softly, gently. Love does not shame, doesn't guilt you, doesn't tell you you're terrible for crying, for still being blocked or whatever. Yesterday, last night, we had the final call of Quantum Code. It was my 4-week program. And I was like, I felt so elated while we were on call that 3.5 hours passed by during our final call. And they're generally like 90 minutes long or whatever. And after the call, I was still feeling great. And then I just felt this uncontrollable surge of emotions and I was bawling my eyes out because that was grief. And I didn't sit there. And in the past, I would have been like, oh my God, Anna, you're so like, you're such an imposter. You talk about faith and you talk about conviction, you're crying over this because I used to think that to be spiritual means to disease your human. That's not true. The more spiritual you are, the more grace you have for the human in you. There is the paradox of you. And that grief that my body was going through was just emotions clearing, a timeline closing. Our intention, our job is not to harden the heart, it is to soften it, to melt it, to be open to love. Love feels it all. Love has the strength and the capacity to feel it all. And so I held myself in love. I said, I know we've made some, big decisions, and I'm also closing a timeline in my life, just like they did. This is my after too. And of course there'll be grief for the parts we're leaving behind, knowing that those parts of us, they served their purpose. They're not going to continue with us to the rest of our story. So we hold ourselves in love and grace. So people ask me a lot of times about, like, oh, but I'm still blocked, and why do I still cry? Why this, why that? The problem isn't that you do. The problem is you judge yourself for it. You think that just because you're crying, you just backtracked on your progress. No. To truly be untouchable, it doesn't mean you don't feel emotions. It means you stop running away from them. You do feel them, but you don't run away from them. And neither do you cling on to them. You allow them to be passed through you because they're just showing up to be released. So that was grief of, yes, there will be, Fallon. Um, what do you mean by that was, wow, I totally missed every question. Uh, let's see. Oh my God, wait. Oh, what do you mean by that was grief? I mean that, when you close a timeline, when you close a chapter of your life, you say, okay, you are also leaving behind a part of you that lived and was settled for that life. So the part of you that settled and said, yeah, okay, I deserve less. The part of you that was okay with settling, you're leaving it. Yeah, because, and see, triggers are just teachers, right? Triggers are just simply present to shine a light on where we need to let go deeper, where we need to allow it to be cleansed through us. Can we still pay $111 for the quantum code? Some of us missed the deadline. Quantum code actually ended, but if you want to buy the recording, you can actually, if you want the discounted price, if you get in my school community, Planet AP, someone named friend two will just put the link in the chat. That's $33 per month, and you can get quantum code inside for $99 instead of 555. And all my rampages, every single thing, for free. Anyways, um, okay. One thing that I want to talk about is a very important part of everything I've shared so far. Divine whispers. All right. A story that, yeah, I sent the replay in your email, babe. Check your email. Check your email, girlfriend. Okay, so when we talk about quantum leaping, surrendering, being detached, being above circumstances, all of that, we also recognize that surrender doesn't mean you're passive, okay? Surrender doesn't mean that you do nothing. It means that you silence the voice of the mind and you listen from the heart, okay? It's lit over there. I love that. I love you, girlfriend. Okay, so I want to tell you about a story that captures this theme perfectly. And then we are going to go into an activation. All right. So this story is probably something that everyone knows, but I want to highlight it for to make the point that I'm making, which is a story that is of the mother of Moses, Prophet Musa alayhi salam, right? So the way that this story was narrated in the Quran, I find the wording very interesting. It was said that, and we inspired the mother of Musa, suckle him, and if you fear for him, cast him into the river. Do not fear, do not grieve. We will return him to you and make him of the messengers. The word used was inspired. Okay, girl, we will go into the activation. That's how I'll teach you. So the word used was inspiration, inspired, okay? Now think about it this way. Love you too. She wasn't a prophet. She wasn't, like a messenger of God like that. She was a mother. But God spoke to her to show us you don't have to be a prophet to receive divine instruction. And you will, when you read the story, you realize that the wording, the way that it's used, the Arabic words, right? It means that, it was like sort of inspired in her heart, like a voice in the heart. Inspiration comes down in the heart. Inspiration isn't just like an angel coming in and giving you revelation. You don't have to be a prophet. It's for the everyday people who have their hearts open to hear the whispers from the divine, to have a heart that's listening. And inspirations, divine whispers, let me also tell you this, they're always illogical. It's very funny, but they're always like something crazy. It's like nothing in the 3D will reflect back that, yeah, this makes sense to do right now. Something so you know, like put your baby in the river. What? Excuse me? What do you mean? But when you stay quiet and you simply follow the will of God, which is inspiration in that moment, you don't negotiate with the 3D. You go and you do it. That's when you open the doors to miracles. Exactly. When you let go of your fears, when you simply let go and let God, when you take action no matter what your senses tell you. See, when you get out of the mind and you stop telling yourself the story of, oh, I love that. That's your soul releasing energy. And I love that. When you stop telling the story of like, oh, I'm subconsciously blocked. Oh, I have this problem. Oh, I have that problem. That's all your ego. I'm not saying that subconscious work isn't important, all of that. But when you come to my transmissions, all right, here's what I really want you to get. These are 50% planned and 50% I'm just speaking from my heart. My mind has zero thoughts. And I am totally zoned in, like just looking in the camera, speaking whatever comes out. And when you come to a transmission, park your ego in your mind, park your logical mind, park the narratives that tell you, oh, but how am I going to resolve this? How do I solve this? How do I solve that? Learn to listen with the heart. Learn to listen, to be present, not to take notes, not to learn something. It might sound counterproductive, but just to be here in the moment. The magic that happens in an awakened heart doesn't happen because you made the notes. It doesn't happen through anything logical. It happens when you're here with your heart. A lot of us, we have intellectualized healing so much when truly, to me, healing represents an awakened heart. Yes, subconscious work, all of those things, they're part of the process, sure. But if you're using that, if you're constantly thinking about that, focusing on that, then you're constantly reaffirming, oh, I'm so blocked. I'm so this, I'm so that. Liberation happens within first, within heart. The moment you let the ego silence itself, the moment you tell the ego, shh, and you get in the heart, presence, you truly, truly, truly liberate. And there is this ecstasy and awe that is so pure in that moment. But it happens when the mind is parked because her whisper came from beyond fear, beyond logic, beyond separation. And this is what I need you to realize. This story is proof that divine inspiration is not limited to a chosen few. It is written so you remember, I remember. God speaks to surrendered hearts, period. You want to live above circumstances? Then you act from illogical knowing. You obey the whisper. You honor the illogical instructions of your heart because that is God. You surrender the baby. You release the attachment. You trust that the very river you fear will become the path to your answered prayer. How can you tell anxiety versus divine whispers? Sometimes anxiety ego is so loud that it feels like divine whispers because divine whispers are not loud in a overbearing sense. They're very calm. Exactly. It's a sense of peace. It's a quiet knowing. It's not like a racing heart and you're just like, oh my God, I should do this. I should do this. It's like, go do it. Put it in the river. It's okay. It's comforting. It's illogical, but comforting. It's when you're just sitting there and it's like, go call that person, do that thing. And you're like, really? Like when I launched the Zero BS Manifestation workshop, right? This was like mid-Jan, I launched it. And when I was designing it, it came to me like as a whisper, right? Launch something called this, right? And I'm like, really? Like, what do you mean? I mean, I haven't manifested my reality or whatever. And I was like, just shut up and do it. Like, like it was like, there's no like, don't argue with me. Like, just do it. Go do it. Halas, period. Go do it. I'm like, okay. And I do it. And like maybe like 20, 25 people joined or something. And in my head, I was like, you know, the way you hyped it up, God, like I thought it was going to be like a lot more people, whatever. It was like a free webinar. And then the second nudge comes in. Okay, now create a Stan store. I'm like, I've been trying to figure out Stan for a hot minute. Just go on the website. I go on the website and it's like my hands moved and things just happened and it was just created and it just worked. And that very workshop was like, go put it for like $27 or something. And I'm like, okay, like barely like 20 people came live for free. You're telling me that like people are gonna buy this? And it's like, just do it. I'm like, okay, fine. So I do it, right? About like at least 900 people have bought it up until now. Sorry, my phone's not on silent. And I could not have expected that. Because my logic said, sir, what's the plan here? But when I parked the logic, I said, okay, you know what? It doesn't make sense, but I'll do it. Because it feels right. You just see the next step and you take the step that's in front of you. You don't have to know the whole last brand. Just the just the next step, right? So from this day on, the way you move is I don't need proof. Honey, I am the proof. I don't need signs. I am the sign. I don't need time. God collapses time for me. You don't ask because you are the knowing. You don't flinch. You are walking. You no longer react. You command. In instances your old self would have spiraled, you just smile and say, the next scene's already in production, period. Period. Exactly. So I'm gonna take a good, like just a quick little 2 minute break over here. We're gonna take a quick 2 minute break, get some water. If you wanna close the lights for the activation, you can. It's gonna be a short one. And then we'll come back and I'll do a live activation with you. I know you guys have sent a lot of questions in the chat. I will take just one question after the activation if there's time. Otherwise, you can email them to me, okay? But let's take a quick short little break and then we'll come back into the activation. Oh, Safi has their hand raised. Do you have a question? Um, you want to talk? Okay, Safi said nope. Okay, never mind. No questions, Your Honor. All right, so okay, period. So we'll take a quick little break and then we'll come back, okay? See you in a hot minute. Okay, okay, we're back. Now, all I want you to do before we get into the activation, okay, is think of just one little scene that would represent your wish fulfilled. Just a slight awareness of who you are, like your next jump. Someone, let's say a month from now. Don't, you don't, it doesn't have to be like a big vision if you don't want it to be. Just slightly become aware of like a 1 month later, 3 month later possibility. Okay? That is that is something that you cannot logically come up with a plan for. That right now, a part of you might be like, oh my God. Like if someone says, dude, that's your life 3 months from now, you might be like, ain't no way. You know, oh my God, hello, rock on. Rocco. uh, it's okay. I'm glad you're here. Hello. That's my favorite person, guys. On God. Okay, so we're gonna start the activation, all right? I'm just gonna the music is shared. All right, let's take a deep fat breath. Everyone, close your eyes. No one in the chat. I shouldn't see you texting. Just close your eyes and let's fall into this moment. Just okay, where you can hear the music, right? Press a one if you can hear the music. See, you missed it. I said no one in the chat. There was a Simon Says moment. I'm kidding. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, all right, let's do this, all right? So for real this time. I want you to go ahead, close your eyes, take a deep breath in and exhale through the mouth. Another deep breath in through the nose. Hold it and exhale through the mouth. And just for this moment, I want you to fully arrive here, just in this moment, beyond space and time, past and future, no matter what is going on in the world, your world. Simply arrive here and let yourself come here with your heart. Put your hand on your heart for a moment. Feel the beating of your heart. Feel your breath passing through the heart. And just follow it. Follow the heartbeat. Follow the breath. Follow my voice. And let everything else slip away. It's just you, aware of your heart. You, God. You, here. This heart you never earned. You didn't do anything to have. But this heart that was given to you as a gift, as a perpetual reminder, just because you can't see something, doesn't know it's not there, that you don't have to earn your worthiness. You don't have to perform. You just have to be. and everything is taken care of for you. Just feel this, the sacredness of it, the love of it, the power of it, an unwavering awareness, an undimmable light, the light of consciousness. So often we get so caught up in the 3D world. We get caught up in the movie that's playing outside of us, that we start to buy into the illusion of separation. We start to really feel separate. We start to really think there's some sort of distance. We start to believe more in the external world than we do in our inner knowing. But that all of that emerges from the mind that is logical, the ego that's running the program of conditioning, the ego that always wants to be right, that needs logic and strategies and plans. But to truly be untouchable, you don't have to perform a ritual. It's not about how much you can heal and this and that. It's how frequently you can come back to your light of awareness. How frequently you can come back to your heart, to the watcher behind it all, the one behind the many. And that happens when we look at life like a movie on a screen. And we come back here and realize the next screen, the next script is what we get to build here now. The present moment, the gift of the present moment is that it gives us the opportunity to write our new script in ink, in frequency, in knowing, in conviction, in faith, in relentlessness, in audacity, to write the script of our soul, to write the script where we know that the world bends to our conviction, it bends to our own laws, it bends to what we decide, what we expect to happen, that what we choose in our mind, what we speak in our heart, what we decide in our whispers is our answered prayer. That every single moment of your life, you have been getting your prayers answered, because an answered prayer is not the one where you beg. It is the one that you live in knowing of. In all your life up until this point, you may have been bathing in the knowing of limitation. But this moment, this arrival, this is where you get to change the script, the knowing, where you write the next chapter. And you allow it to melt in you as you allow it to intertwine with every fabric of your being. This is where you come home. Not a physical home, not a home in the 3D, but the home in your awareness, the home with God, the home where you realize that all those illusions, all those distortions were just lies. They were just illusions. So I want you to now begin to open your heart. Feel this energy, a golden energy surround you, emanating from your heart and literally surrounding you, circling you, consuming you, dancing around you. The frequency of love mixed with the light of awareness. And you slowly begin to feel it deeper and deeper and deeper. Feel the softening, the anticipation of what's next as your soul is at the edge of its seat. And you're simply dissolving into this moment. And now is the part where we get juicy. Now is the part where I want you to look up in your imaginary sky. Look up in the space above you and see a glorifying light, a blinding light, a light that calls you to a new timeline. And it throws down a thread, a rope for you to hold on to, almost to pull you up to a new reality, to a new frequency, a reality where you are untouchable. So you grab the rope and you start climbing up and really feel with every second, feel yourself getting closer. And with every second, feel this new timeline drip into you, collide with the cells in your body, marinate you in a new life, in a new timeline, in the already done state. And so you get closer and closer, and you feel space dissolve. You see that time was always an illusory separation, that there is no real separation in reality, that this timeline is not a concept. It is here, it is now, it is the only reality. It is more real than what your eyes see. Because your eyes see an old movie, your eyes see a past distortion. Your eyes see the movie that the producers already made and now they're just playing it. But right now, this is a realm of production, the quantum studio. This is where your light of awareness is on and you are building. This is where you are deciding, convicting. With the closer you get to this portal, you say more convictions out loud. In my reality, everything's easy for me. In my reality, whatever I speak is what happens. In my reality, opportunities are magnetized to me. My business is booming. My love life is magnetic. I am the person who simply exists and everything works for me. This is the luckiest timeline of my life. This is where I get to simply exist and be celebrated by life itself. Where it gets to be easy. My relationships get to be loving. My health gets to be booming, radiating, glowing. My energy is off the charts. My conviction is the loudest roar. Feel it. The closer you get, feel it more and more until you're at the edge. And you are bathing in this light, ready to enter, ready for it to completely dissolve into you. No. does. It takes you in. It blankets you, folds you like a burrito in this light, in this timeline. And you feel a release, a peace in your heart, in your soul, a peace in presence. And your higher self, your spiritual guides, they cheer you on as you now enter this reality. A reality where it is simply done. The shift has happened, and you're looking through your own eyes this life that your mind said was illogical, this life where your mind said, oh, I don't know if it can happen, this life that once your mind said that, wait, what? Don't you have subconscious blocks? Don't you need to do this? Don't you need to do that? But when you stop performing and stop doing and stop believing in the old story, that's the moment the magic happened. When you were in the room, in the transmission, you were convicting, you were radiating, you were feeling. That is when your entire timeline shifted. When you stopped questioning and you fell into conviction and knowing, you surrendered. You stopped asking how, and you said, God, light the freaking way. I will walk it. I will march it. I will do what it takes. But now you're here. Now it's real. And I want you to memorize this timeline, this feeling, this knowing that the only way you got here was because you became untouchable. Because this round, this is where you are writing this movie. You are deciding the laws. You are deciding the characters. You are deciding the outcomes. You are not writing how. You are not writing how because that is not your job. You are giving the how up. You're giving your final polished draft to God here. And you're saying, God, this or better in the best way you know to deliver. That's the difference. That's the difference between insistence and surrender. Between I need it to be this way and I trust that God will make it the most glorious experience of my life. That all I have to do is park my logic. All I have to do is tell logic it has no seat on this table. Because I move with God. And he makes time bend for me. He rearranges reality for me in ways that I can never understand. And today I decide that I no longer need to understand, that I am the walking embodiment of the shift. I get to choose, I get to convict, I get to remember, I get to come back to this place in my knowing over and over and over again until I can feel her, feel him, be one with this reality until it is the only thing that I know how to be. Because when you collide the distance, you're no longer making a prayer in the dark. You become the prayer itself. You become the manifestation. You become that right now. What I want you to do is simply feel this frequency locked. And say to yourself, it is done. I am the one it always works out for. I am living in the end, from the end. That is it. That's it. You're not practicing for power. You're not longing for power. You're not looking for the shift. You are the shift. You walk it. You live it. You radiate it. You know it because you are it. And whenever you're ready, simply bring the awareness back to a new body, a new environment, and a whole new line of time, knowing
Who you wanna be?
you've already
If you
convicted.
say I can set you free, get you out of
You are
your
above
head. I
circumstances,
am what you seek, the guru
untouchable.
says, but it's not
Welcome
for
home.
free. I need you instead. I just wanna be someone
Period.
better than. I just wanna find someone stronger than.
Welcome home.
I've searched every corner for someone like me. You're more than enough.
Just be here.
Always stuck when you keep on looking for the
Feel
obvious.
how
You're
beautiful it
more
is
than enough. You're always loved. Your light is as
to
bright as
be.
the stars above.
We don't need words to shift. We don't even need this transmission. It's all just presence. When we bring our heart to the table, we surrender the ego.
You're more than enough.
I love you guys too.
Always
Big ups to
stuck
God
when you
for
keep
connecting us
on
all.
looking for the obvious. You're more than enough. You're always loved. Your
You
light
guys are
is
so
as bright
beautiful.
as the stars above.
And I'm grateful.
Stop looking and stop looking.
Stop
Start
looking.
seeing, start seeing from within. You're more than enough. Who could you be?
I think that how do we get this whole recording? Don't. I'm joking. I will post the Zoom one inside the Planet AP, the school community. The YouTube replay will be up for probably like 72 hours, the live stream, and then if you want to access it, it'll be in the community. If you guys want, the one last thing is that we're doing a 3-day, what is it? A 3-day experience to integrate this frequency deeper, to clear any shadows, and to really, because yes, every time we come back to the remembrance, the activation, we don't need any work. But the work, the shadow, releasing our shadows, clearing energy blocks, that is there to support the process, that is there to make the remembrance habitual, where the remembrance is you. You are an embodiment of it. You don't need an activation to remind you. And you open your capacity, your nervous system's capacity to feel safe and feel love. So next week, I'm doing a 3-day event inside my school community. Um, and it will be clearing the shadows so you can truly live in the after. If you want to join it, you can. Where's the link? I don't know where friend two is. Homeboy did not send the link, but um, okay, wait. I need to find the link. One sec. But I'm gonna send the link over here. And if you feel called to join us, I would love to have you in it. And here you go. There's the link. And then I'm gonna take a hot little weekend break, birthday weekend, period. But yeah, dude, I love you guys. I am so grateful to thank you. I'm so grateful, man. I love this work. I love connecting with you. I love talking to you guys. I'm just so grateful to be here. I'm just so freaking grateful to get the privilege to share this beautiful, beautiful human experience with you, to collide with you here, and to get to share my love, my light, my gifts with you. Thank you. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.